the Federal Reserve. The President does appoint the 7 members of the Board of Governors, also known as the Federal Reserve Board. However, the Fed's monetary policy decisions do not have to be approved by the President or anyone else in the executive or legislative branches of government.
Well, first of all, the Federal Reserve is an independent agency, and that means basically that there is no other agency of government which can overrule actions that we take.
Political science professor Michael D. Reagan. The ownership of the reserve banks by the commercial banks is symbolic. They do not exercise the proprietary controls associated with the concept of ownership, nor share beyond the statutory dividend in reserve bank profits. So, who does own the Fed? Well, the stockholders do. The Federal Reserve pays dividends to its stockholders in the tune of a fixed 6% of claimed annual profits. Okay, so who are these shareholders? The Fed began with approximately 300 people or banks that became owners or stockholders purchasing stock at $100 per share in the Federal Reserve banking system. And it should be noted that none of these stocks were publicly traded. The Rothschilds and the Bank of England were instrumental in the creation of the Federal Reserve banking system in the U.S. They accomplished this through their control of stock holdings in major U.S. banks and having powerful subsidiary firms in New York. The 2 principal representatives in New York are J.P. Morgan Company and Kuhn, Loeb & Company, which were the firms that set up the Jekyll Island Conference where the Federal Reserve Act was drafted, and it was these firms that directed the successful campaigns to have the plan enacted into law by Congress in 1914. They were also sure to purchase the controlling amounts of stock in the Federal Reserve Bank in New York and had their principal officers appointed to the Federal Board of Governors and the Federal Advisory Council. They then continued to use their power and influence to purchase controlling shares in all the Federal Reserve regional banks as well. So there is a traceable linear connection between the Rothschilds, Bank of England, and the controlling shareholders for the entire U.S. Federal Reserve banking system today. Here is a list of the major families and firms who currently control the U.S. Federal Reserve.
Welcome to the Cryptoteacher, and guys, please like and subscribe if you do like what you're listening to. Please inform your friends and family and spread on social media. It is imperative that we get back to learning finances and understand how the world really works, because once we understand how the world really works, we understand that everything is planned out. Now guys, of course, we're going to get into Bitcoin and cryptos first. Of course, like I had stated, what happens? The stock market goes up, cryptos go up. Why? Because the Fed is writing that check. So guys, make sure that we understand that all these dates are together for a reason. BitMEX does their derivatives and swaps. They started on the 5th for a reason. All this is interconnected. Tether, your stable coins, Xrp, all this is connected. So guys, I just want to make sure that we wake up to this. Guys, this is the time where we should be making money, not being scared. And that's what I'm going to go over in this video. If the Fed is buying bonds, ETFs, cryptos, stocks, get in and make your money, guys. It makes no sense not to. So let's get into the money. Now we have the Fed, of course, buying bonds. You ask yourself, okay, why are they buying bonds? We're going to go back to 2018 when they started, of course, this big spending spree as far as with buying buybacks, $2.5 trillion. So we know what, 85% of the stock market is owned by the top 10%. Regular people don't care about stock. They're not buying stock. Only probably 10%. I think they say 10% have $1,000 in their savings account. So the fact is that we know that the regular average Joe is not buying stocks unless it's in a pension or 401k. So the fact is that they're buying bonds. We see Toyota, we see Daimler. These are, Daimler is German, Toyota is Chinese. Also, the Chinese own a piece of Daimler when they were going through their issues as far as with the 2008 crisis. So the fact is that, guys, they are bailing out all the foreigners and, of course, their corporations. So what are we going to do? That's what we're going to invest in. It only makes sense. We know their stocks are going to be going up. They had to save them because they did all these buybacks, and we saw the stock market go down. So in our eyes, we said, oh, the stock market is going down, so that means these companies are going to go down. What happened? They just bought it. That's it. And if you read my NWO book, I go over how the corporations are going to run America, and you see the swallowing of all these, well, the consolidation of all these corporations. I'm going to get in that later into the video. Now, we want to know when is the end game? When is it going to end? Now, of course, I had to sit up all night looking for research, went on to the Federal Reserve, went over their bond buying, and guys, it's in September 30th. Now, September is very, very important if you go biblically. I'm not going to get into that, but Jubilee is very important. Those who understand Jubilee know what I'm talking about. And the fact is that this ends on September 30th for a reason. Now, it clearly states that they can extend it. Will they extend it? No, they're not going to extend it. That's not the point. The fact is that September 30th is going to give them enough time to know who the president is going to be, put enough time for people to go to sleep. They know who, just like I said, well, they already know who the president is going to be, but this gives them a time to make sure that people get in and vote, still keep that illusion, and then, of course, September 30th, they bring you back to reality. Now, getting over into regular Bitcoin news, we have Arica Labs, built on Ethereum blockchain, get SEC approval, the Altcoins. So, guys, we see that regulation, all this is coming about. We clearly know that this system is over. So, fiat is over. Paper money is over. You go into your different stores now, they have signs up. No, we don't have any coinage. All this is set up on purpose. The fact is that it only takes one event to change the course of history, and this C word has taken us into a whole nother different direction. Now, we also have Visa hiring blockchain engineers. We also have Travel.com booking Expedia hotels in crypto. Basically, we have the Australian, over 2,500 Australians can now purchase crypto, make payments in cryptocurrencies. Also, getting over into world news, what I want to go over is the fact is that with the C word, basically, like I stated, it changed the whole course of the future. So the announcements, we have Uber buying Postmates, who agreed to a $2.65 billion deal, all stock deal. We have Warren Buffett buying Dominion Energy. Of course, he wants those gas lines. So guys, we're starting to see the consolidation of America. Like I stated, it's only going to be about 250 million people in America. There was a guy who have a link down the bottom of one of my videos. I forgot what the website said, but it said 100 million. That was a military website that said it was only going to be 100 million people in the next 5 years in America. And that was, like I said, that was a military website. I'm pulling my figures 250 million just because of the baby boomers. And the reason why they're taking away visas is because they don't want people coming into America. That migration, remember how they built America? They built America by giving free land, free money. Remember Martin Luther King did the speech on that. They were giving free land, free money, I think it was called the Land Act, and getting immigrants over into the United States. So therefore they could, take over and build. But that's how a lot of wealth was created. Now, Getting over into the actual crazy news of the day, we have Michigan House of Representatives pass a law of voluntary microchipping. So the fact is, guys, that now, of course, the employers can voluntarily, if you want to be chipped, use it as a security scan, you can do that, if you're crazy enough. And then also we have China with the fake gold. So guys, make sure that we understand that everything is planned. This is all a game. Now, don't forget about the books, Cryptoteacher, NWO book. I want to thank those who donate to the Cash App, Patreon. Much love. Keep it coming. Don't forget about the stocks, your chip stocks, your cobalt, your gaming, your bank stocks. Everybody sitting at home, don't forget about those stocks. Of course, the biotech stocks, the C word, make sure you're buying those. Of course, they're still selling that narrative. And also, we have the weed and alcohol stocks. Don't forget about that, because everybody's sitting at home getting that free money for right now. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. And also going over with the C word, they said now all this testing is coming too expensive. They will start to drift away from that narrative until they get us to where they want us to go. Remember, it only takes that one plan, and you never ever let a crisis go to waste, because you can do things that you never would have been able to do. Y'all have a wonderful day.